say this just because he's here, but I will say it because he is here. Will Rogers said one time, bragging ain't bragging if you can prove it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 17th winningest coach in America. Thank you. Congratulations on putting Carolina back in the postseason.
Well, Woody, it's just been a great season. I can't say enough about our football team, the leadership of our seniors, the fans at Kenan Stadium, the fans all throughout the state of North Carolina. It's just a remarkable season. It's been a lot of fun to be a part of, and we need to finish this off strong tomorrow.
Boy, we sure do. And coaches, you've said this program in only your second year is very much a work in progress. Boy, if we've got a lot more to celebrate, these people are going to be really celebrating.
Well, Woody, you don't ever want to look too far into the future. I mean, certainly we want to play well. It's been a great season. The passion for football at Carolina is just unbelievable right now. We're enjoying a great recruiting class. Our players, if you could see how hard our players are working, not only for this season, but for future years and helping us recruit and the fans, there's going to be a lot of good times in the future.
Spent a week in Chapel Hill after exams getting ready for tomorrow. You've prepared more since you've been in Charlotte over the last few days. But overall, Coach, what do you want the postseason experience to be like for your football players?
Well, I mean, there's several things, Woody. I think that, clearly you want this to be, the bowl week itself, you want this to be a memorable experience for our players. They've come here and had an opportunity. It's a great reward for 9 months of hard work and diligence and doing all the right things academically, socially, certainly on the football field. It obviously, getting into a bowl game does a lot of things. It helps in recruiting. It gives all your young kids an opportunity, an additional 10 or 12 practices, one additional game. There's so many things. The enthusiasm that it creates for the Tar Heel Nation. I mean, there's a plethora of things that are so good about getting into a bowl game. But we've had a great experience since finals been over the first week in December, and the kids, I think, are looking forward to playing another game.
And Coach, this is going to be a terrific matchup.
Oh, wow. For the fans that don't know, and if you don't get a chance to watch a great deal of highlights, West Virginia is a very, very talented, a very well-coached football team. They're explosive. They've got an awful lot of very gifted athletes. Certainly the most notable guy that everybody hears about is Pat White, the quarterback. He's been one of the guys that's been named as a Heisman candidate 2 seasons in a row. He's an electrifying athlete. He's got a great supporting cast, a very talented group of guys on defense, and so when the season started, Woody, and you go back and you look back at all the predictions in August, West Virginia was a preseason number 8 pick in a lot of the publications as one of the best teams in the nation, preseason number 1 pick to win the Big East Conference, and so they are certainly very talented.
What makes West Virginia's defense so unique?
Well, the difference, there's a variety of different schemes that people play defensively, and they're unique in the sense that they're one of the few teams in the country. They run what you'll hear the analysts talk about it on television tomorrow. They're kind of a 3-3 stack, and basically what that means is that they're going to play with 3 true down defensive linemen, a nose tackle and 2 defensive ends that are going to be big, massive, powerful guys that can really anchor the line of scrimmage, and then they're going to play 8 other gifted athletes. Certainly 4 of them will be secondary type corners and safeties. The other guys are going to be linebacker type players that are very comfortable playing in space. And the thing that makes that such a challenge is that the 3 down guys more than likely are probably going to be part of a pass rush or part of the pressure package. But any number of the other 8 guys could, at some time 8 could drop into coverage. 3 or 4 of those guys can come, so they can really try to attack and challenge your protections.
I think Rick Steinbacher, I hope he got all of that, because Rick's going to talk about it on the radio too, aren't you?
Absolutely.
One other question I wanted to ask, and throughout the year, we've talked about the 3 elements of the game, not only the offense and the defense, but special teams could have an effect on this game as well.
Well, Woody, I think special teams always has an effect, and you're always, as a coaching staff, you're always concerned. We've had basically at or near almost a 4-week layoff since we've played a ball game. You want to be sharp, you want to be efficient, and more importantly, you want to play really well in special teams. I've told our team for the last 2 years, probably the fastest way that you can lose a football game is to play poorly in special teams, whether it's block kicks or field position that you give up in punts and kick returns. and it's a huge challenge. I mean, you want to play well, because, and especially against a team like West Virginia, you don't want to give up a huge field position advantage to them. You don't want their offense to start, you know, at or near around the 50-yard line or the 40 or the 35. You need them to go, you know, the long, hard way. And so hopefully, you know, our kickers will have a good game tomorrow. You know, certainly Jay Wooten will play a role in it. Casey Barth will play a role. Terrence Brown will play a big role. And the coverage units that support those guys, we really need them to step up and play well tomorrow.
Well, much credit to you and your coaches and the players, because your special teams have hung in there after at midseason losing at that time the most exciting player in college football, Brandon Tate.
Well, I tell you, Woody, and I know Brandon's, you know, is listening and everything. It was a huge blow, you know, to a football team, because certainly Brandon was an extraordinarily popular player on our football team, a guy that everybody on the team loved, and fans know, you've watched him play his entire career, and how much of an electric athlete that he is. That he's one of those gifted athletes that can literally change the complexion of a game in one play. It could be a punt return, a kick return for a touchdown, field position that he could help generate, and then certainly everybody got a chance the first half of this season to see what he could do on reverses when you get him the ball in the passing game. That 200 yards that he took with him was kind of hard to replace.
Coach, one other thing before we let you go is both of these teams are among the tops in the country with regard to turnover margin. So that could also be important.
Yeah, Woody, there's no question that you know, any teams that have had winning records, I think if you probably polled all of the teams around the country that had 8 wins, 9 wins, 10 wins around the country, you would find that one of the common denominators are going to be that they've had a successful season in protecting the football and creating more turnovers. At the end of the game, if you end up in the plus territory with turnovers, you've got a real good chance of winning the football game.
We appreciate very much his time tonight. I know you appreciate him coming in and spending a few minutes with us. And so let's send it off with a real good send-off. Butch Davis. Coach Davis, he's on his way back upstairs. Via the telephone briefly with Will Webb, who is the executive director of the Meineke Car Care Bowl. We've also got Matt Kupek coming. Matt was the quarterback of the Carolina team that beat Michigan in the Gator Bowl in 1979. One of the best wins a Carolina football team has had in recent years in the postseason. We'll get to that, and then Rick Steinbacher, my broadcast partner, is coming in, and we're going to talk about the Mountaineers and maybe take some questions from in here or take some questions via the telephone. We'll do all of that when we return to Champs in the Marriott City Center. You're listening to the Tar Heel preview for the Meineke Car Care Bowl.